Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a test of your instruction ability today. It's phase 1 subject. It's my first lesson.
Okay.
So it's going to be a controls lesson, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll hand over to you to meet and greet.
Okay, Tony, my name's Goulam. Nice to meet you.
Alright, nice to meet you.
I understand this is your first lesson.
Yep.
So you've not had any experience driving a car before?
No, I've never driven a car before.
No. Have you ever used a mountain bike or a scooter? Or
oh yeah, I've got a
anything
push
along
bike,
those?
yeah.
Okay. So okay, that's fine. So you have kind of travelled other than walking before on some sort of bike or whatever. Okay. What we're going to do today is look at the controls of the vehicle.
All right, yeah.
It's important we start with that, just so it sets you up nicely for your following lessons. What we're going to do is we're going to find a suitable location to do the lesson. So we're going to drive to the location. I'll obviously drive us there. So what I want you to do when as we're driving there is keep an eye on my steering.
All right.
It's important that you do, because obviously we're gonna get you to be in this seat, going forward, and if we can pick up things nice and early, then it'll help your progress as well. Right. So I'm just gonna drive us to the location. So just ask you to put your seatbelt on, Tony. So seatbelt, okay, it's on that side when you're a passenger. So what I'm going to do is just ask you to grab it with your right hand, and with your left hand reach across and pull it all the way through until it reaches this point here, and just click it into your latchet there. Okay. What we want to do is just run your thumb up it with your left hand, and make sure there's no twists in the seatbelt. And also the bottom bit should be just around the your waist there. Okay. Yeah. So it's important that we don't have any twists in it, Tony, because even if you're a passenger or if you're driving, if we did have a knock or if we had to stop in an emergency, any twists in the seatbelt would obviously mean it cut into your skin there. And obviously we're not, that's not what a seatbelt's there for. It's to protect you, not to make matters worse. Okay, so just going to start the car, and I just want you to keep an eye on the steering, Tony.
Right,
so I'll get you to look over here throughout the whole of this drive.
So we're going to be turning right at the parking bay and then left at the T-junction.
So we're going to turn right at the parking bay, Tony, and left at the T-junction. So what I'm going to do, Tony, is I'm going to use the pull-push method on the steering wheel.
So sorry.
Okay, so it's important, which I didn't mention, Tony.
I didn't even see them.
That's all right. I haven't mentioned the foot controls, so
I do apologise.
they're obviously for my use. Well, yeah, maybe that was a blessing in disguise. That's the importance of you not touching the foot controls there, Tony. Okay. So it's important you don't touch them, because what's happened is you've controlled the car for me on that side. And that's for my use when I'm in that seat.
I was just stretching my legs out, I didn't even know.
Yeah, sorry. So if I get you to keep your feet still, and not obviously touch any of the controls.
Right at the parking bay and left at the T-junction.
Excellent. So we're going to turn right and turn left. So just get you to keep an eye out on the steering. So what we're going to do is use the pull-push method, Tony. Okay. And we're going to turn left, Tony. So if you just keep an eye on the steering wheel over here, Tony, because this will benefit you more than looking out the window there, although it is a lovely day. So with the pull push technique, Tony, we're going to use our left hand and right hand. Okay, so we always have both hands on the steering wheel unless we're changing the gear. So just look over here for me, Tony, please. That's good. Right. So I'm just going to keep the speed steady, just so I can talk to you and give you some instruction as we're driving to the site. So my left hand is at the, if you imagine a clock face, my left hand is on the 10 o'clock position, and my right hand is on the 2 o'clock position. And it's important that you have some sort of, you can either use the quarter to 3 or 10 and 2 position, but we'll talk about that as the car's stationary. And what we use is the pull-push technique, Tony. So when we turn next, I'll talk you through that.
At the roundabout, we're going to follow the road straight on.
So we're going to go straight on over the roundabout. So the pull-push technique, if your hand's at the 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock position, we use one hand to pull the steering wheel and the other hand to push the steering wheel through.
Take the next turning to the right.
Take the next turning to the right, Tony. So if you just keep an eye on my steering wheel on this one, and what I'll do, I'll stop here and just talk you through it, providing we haven't got any cars coming. So what I'm going to do, Tony, is my hands are in the normal position here. Okay, so I'm going to pull with my right hand and push through with my left hand, and then pull, and the same the other way around. So it's big steers. Okay,
The steering seems very light.
It's actually quite light. Some cars, the older cars, they'll be a bit heavier, but the lighter steering wheels means that they're power assisted.
Oh right.
So it's PAS it stands for. And it's actually power assisted steering. So it's actually in the newer cars, which helps people steer with a lot more ease.
And we're going to turn right.
And we're going to turn right, Tony. So once again, if you just keep an eye on the steering wheel, okay. And what I'll do again, because there's no cars behind me, I will stop here just to talk you through it. So what we're going to do, Tony, is we've got our hands at the normal position. We're going to pull through with our right, meet at the bottom with our left, and pull back through.
This will be a suitable road if you'd like to find something.
Excellent. So what we're going to do is just pull up there on the left. So obviously this is the first lesson, so I won't expect you to take the steering too easily, but okay, so we're just going to stop here on the left, Tony. Okay, so I'll just turn the engine off. So it's important that we don't touch any pedals, and
no, I won't touch you.
we won't, we won't do anything unless I ask you. So just remain in the car, Tony. So just shut the door for me, please. So it's important you don't open that door at this stage, because obviously we need to give you some instruction on how we exit the vehicle. So what I'd like you to do, and I've noticed you've taken the seatbelt off as well, Tony. What I was going to ask you to do.
Off as we stop.
Okay, you beat me to it actually. By the time I stopped the car, I should have asked you to do that before, just to remain still. When we take the seatbelt off, Tony, if you can do me a favour and just pop it back on, so I can actually talk to you about that seatbelt. Okay, so with your right hand, do you remember how we talked at the...
No, I've got to plug it in there.
Yeah, make sure there's no...
choice.
Yep, excellent. And just run your finger through, run your thumb through. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to swap seats, but not just yet, Tony. I'm just going to talk to you about the exiting of the vehicle, making sure it's safe to exit, and obviously the seatbelt as well, which is, you beat me to it. So what we're going to do, if you grab the seatbelt from this strap here with your left hand, okay, and unclick it with your right hand and guide it through without it just... Excellent. So if you just guide it all the way through, it's important that we guide it all the way back through like this, Tony. I'll just show you on mine, because if we feed it through and keep a hold of this bit here, which clicks into there, it won't damage the window, because if we just let it fling open, it could obviously damage the window, which will obviously not be good. It'll damage the car, or it might actually hit you in the face, and you don't want that before you start driving.
Yeah, I don't mind breaking your window, I don't get hit in the face.
Yeah, well, they're both equally important. So that's how we take the seatbelt on and put the seatbelt on. Take it off and put it on. Just want you to tell me, Tony, how would you think normally, being a passenger in the car, if your mum and dad were driving, or brother or sister, how would you normally get out of the car, Tony?
Through the door.
Okay. How would you open the door? Would you just...
I just showed you. I opened it a few minutes ago.
Okay. So is that how you'd normally open it? Okay. What I'd ask you to do, Tony, is it's important that we look up and down the pavement to make sure that if we do open the door, there's no cyclists or pedestrians walking past that are going to walk straight into our door. Okay, and that's why we use that mirror there, which is, we'll talk about the mirrors a bit later on. We use that mirror just to see what's coming up and down the pavement. Okay.
So you don't want me to look, you want me to just use the mirror?
So I want you to use the mirror first, just have a quick look into the mirror if there's anything coming, and then just check over your left shoulder. Okay. and that'll give you...
Well, I can see more of this left shoulder than I can in that mirror.
Okay, so it's important that I mean, the mirror's there to be used, so what we'll do is we'll check the mirror, and we'll also check over our left shoulder. That way you've done 2 checks. Over the left shoulder will give you a more accurate picture of what's behind you, because that's curved glass, but we'll talk about that a bit later. So providing it's clear, what I want you to do, Tony, is I want you to put your right hand on the handle here, the silver handle, okay, and your left hand to in the okay, excellent. So don't open it just yet. Now we're going to have one final check just over our shoulder, and what's probably a good idea is if we let this pedestrian walk past.
I'm going to get a lesson today, am I?
You are. So it is important that we let him walk across, because we don't want to be an obstacle for him. So now he's gone across, what I'm going to do is ask you to exit the vehicle. It's important we don't let the door blow open, okay, so keep your right hand on there as we open it, and gently open it rather than just slamming it open. And then once you've opened it, I want you to shut the door on the way out and just meet me at the back of the car. Okay. Just going to make sure that the boot's closed slowly. Okay, so just a good opportunity for you to check it while we're walking around. As you can see, it's firmly closed. If it was open, then we'll put it down. You can always, if you want it, slide it and then get it okay. You can also see that the doors are closed as well from that angle. Now it's important that when we're walking around, it is important that we have a good look to the road, because that's not too bad, you know, it's the first part, but this is the road, so you don't want to get that until you're walking into traffic. So if you have a quick turn up and down, if it's safe to go, I want you to sit in the driver's seat there, but not touch any of the controls or attempt to do anything until okay, so if you just keep your feet still and try and avoid touching anything for the time being. Okay, so we're just going to carry out the cockpit drill there, Tony. Okay, now just going to use my folder here just to make it easier, just to make sure we've covered everything. So what we're going to do, Tony, is first of all we get in the vehicle and we check that the doors are closed. Now we've checked them from the outside, but if you were in the inside of the vehicle, it might be a good idea just to give this handle a little tug there. Okay. Now, if it was open, you'd hear a rattling noise, and that would give you an indication that the door's open. So what you'd do is, using the technique earlier, you'd open it and close it again and make sure it's firmly shut. In some vehicles, you do get a light come on that tells you which door's open, and again, that might be something that you can use as well. Now, providing the doors are closed, we then check that the vehicle is secure. Okay, so we use the handbrake to obviously secure the vehicle. Now that's this thing here. Okay, so what I want you to do is just with your left hand, okay, because that's the easier hand for you to get to the handbrake to. Just want you to pull it up to see if it goes any further up, okay, or down. Okay, so the car is secure at the moment. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so the car is secure at the moment. Now, to operate the handbrake, at the moment the handbrake's up, so the car's secure. If we needed to move the car, we would obviously take the handbrake down, but we'll cover that a bit later on. Okay, but at the moment the car's secure. Okay, we're now going to look at your seating position. So we'll start with the base of the seat, Tony. Okay, which is the bit that your bum's on at the moment. Now, we need to make sure that you can reach the important pedals at the bottom. Okay, so what I want you to do is with your left foot, I just want you to press the pedal which is furthest to your left, which is the clutch, all the way down, and hold it down. Okay.
I can't get it all the way down.
So it can't go all the way down. So what we need to do is we need to move the seat forward. So what I'll do is, if you don't do anything until I tell you, if you just put your left arm on the steering wheel at the top, okay, and just hold the steering wheel. And what I want you to do, there's a bar just at the bottom of the front of the seat here. If you just pull that bar up, okay, and not slide too far back, but we need to go forward, in fact. So if you just slide it slowly, okay, and just try that now. What you need is a slight bend in your leg. So if you just keep going until you feel that bend in the leg when the clutch is depressed all the way down.
Yeah.
Okay, so just try it again for me, just to make sure you've got a bend. Excellent, so that's fine. So you can reach the pedal, okay, so that's fine. So that's the base of the seat, okay. Now it's important that we reach that pedal because we don't want to obviously be too short and not be able to brake or use the clutch while we're driving. So if we can get that sorted.
Just out of roll, if you just give me the key, I'll just open the window down so we don't rush.
I thought you were playing with me there.
No, I did say out of roll, didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay, back in roll.
Whew. It's warm.
Back in roll.
Okay. Okay, so that's the base of the seat. We're now going to look at the rake of the seat, Tony, which is this one here, okay, which is what your back rests against, okay. Now we need to make sure that that's obviously in a good position for you, okay. So you don't want to be too far back because you can't see the road, and you don't want to be too far forward. So if you just okay, so if you just lean back, Tony, in your normal position, okay. We need to make sure you're in a normal upright position there, okay. So that looks fine to me. If you just lean back all the way, okay, that's fine. Yeah, so that's an upright position. So the rake is fine. If you did need to change it, it's the button on your, it's the small round bar on the right of the seat on the corner where the base and the rake meet. Okay, so if you turn that up and down, you don't need to now because we've already got the position.
I haven't got a bar.
It's a small knob.
Yeah.
Okay, and you turn that either way to move it forward or left, but we'll leave that because it's suited to you at the moment. Okay, we're now going to look at the head restraint.
Alright.
Okay, now this is this bit here, Tony. Okay, what do you think that's there for, Tony?
Restraining your head.
Yeah, okay. So it's there to protect you in case if a car did hit you from behind, although you've got your seatbelt on, if your neck was to fling back without that, you might hit a passenger in the back, or they might come and hit you in the back of the head. So it is an important part of the seat, and we must make sure we get it right. The way to get that sorted is make sure that the centre of your back of your head, okay, meets the centre of the hardest part of the head meets that. So at the moment it's too far up. Now to move it down, there's just a button here, so I'll help you with it. If you pretend you're taking a throw on in football, and as I press the button down, you can move it down a bit. Okay, that's fine. And that's, can you feel the centre of that meeting the centre of your head?
I think so, yeah.
Excellent. So that's that sorted. So that's the seat done. Now I'm going to look at the steering wheel, Tony. Okay. Now,
yeah, it's nice.
It is nice, isn't it? We're going to make sure that obviously you can reach the steering wheel, okay? So if you hold both arms out in front of you and put your wrists on the top of the steering wheel for me, okay? Now, what we need is a slight bend in the elbows, okay? So I would say that we possibly need to move that seat, the rake of the seat a bit forward, just so you're a bit, actually, that's about right, that's about right. So if you just put both hands on the steering wheel as you would, and run them all the way around just to make sure. Now there should be a slight bend in your elbows. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Okay, there should be a slight bend in your elbows, which there is. So that's the steering wheel. To hold the steering wheel, we use something called the 10 and 2 position. So you imagine this is a clock face. So you've got 12, okay, and you've got 6, and you've got 3 and 9. If you put your left hand where 10 would be on the clock face, so it'd be about there, and your right hand where 2 would be. Okay, yep. So if you want to look at your watch to help you, you can.
I normally use a digital watch. That's what it is.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so that's fine. So you can reach the steering wheel. Okay. Okay. So next thing we need to worry about is the seatbelt. Now we've already taken it on and off a few times. This time we will keep it on. So I want you to just remember how we put the seatbelt on in the first place, and just show me just talk to me what you're going to do, how you're going to put that seatbelt on, and what you're going to, just talk me through it if you can. And if you're not sure, just ask me. Okay, so we grab that with the right hand.
No, I'll pull it out, yeah.
Yep, okay, with the left hand now, yep. Okay, and
I'll pull this through here.
Yep.
And plug it in.
Yep, so do you plug it into my one, or would it make sense to plug it into your one? Okay, so So it makes sense to plug it into your one, otherwise we're going to be crossing here. Yeah, I mean we can share, but then we might have a problem reaching the handbrake. So, you know, let's actually plug it in then, Tony. Okay. Brilliant. And just run your thumb through it all the way to the top. So from there with your right hand.
You sure it's not broken? It keeps popping in.
It keeps popping out, does it? Let's make sure it is in there, Tony. So give it a little tug, sorry.
Give it a tug.
Yeah. Yeah, but let's not break it. So just a little tug, Tony.
Yeah, but I don't want to go through that windscreen, do I?
No, no. So if you do feel like you need to give it a good tug, please do. You know, as long as you don't break it. And there's no twists in there. If there were twists, Tony, what would be the consequences of that? Do you know?
No, I might get stabbed.
Yeah, that's it. In a way, yeah. So it is important that we check for those twists. Okay. Now the bottom part should be around your, just under your under your six pack there, and the top part should run across your chest. Okay.
I just checked my appointment card. Did it say I'm having a lesson with your smarters?
And we're going to finally just look at the mirrors, Tony. Okay. Now, how many mirrors can you see on this car, Tony?
5.
5. Okay. So what we're going to use, these 2 are for my benefit. Okay. But you've got 3 mirrors for yourself. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the interior mirror first. Okay.
Yeah, it's quite nice.
Yeah, it is quite nice. We need to set that mirror up so you can see the back off the road there through the back windscreen. Okay. So if you just normal driving position as you were. Okay. So not leaning forward and not leaning too far back. And just with your left hand, it's important that you don't smudge the glass. So don't touch the glass, but just with the casing, if I just give you a demonstration, I just want you to move it a bit like that because it is flexible. Okay, and just make sure you can line up. So just slowly for me. Okay, so it's important that you can line up the top and the bottom of the back windscreen in that mirror. So can you see the whole of the windscreen in that mirror now?
I can see the top and bottom.
Yeah, excellent. Can you see the left and right as well? Or are you too far on the left or too far on the right? So you should be able to line up. Yep, excellent. So you should be able to see a bit of that head restraint and a bit of mine. Okay. How much of it can you see? You should be able to see about, you know.
I can see the top and bottom of the back window.
Yep.
I can see a bit of my head restraint, and I can see a bit of yours.
Excellent. So that's how we want that mirror set up at all times. Okay. So, can you just tell me, Tony? Do you know what sort of glass that is? Have you ever come across, you know, sitting in a
glass that actually cut your finger in?
Yeah, so it is real glass. Okay, now this is actually flat glass, Tony. Okay, so flat glass gives you a true picture of what's behind you. Okay, so it's a true and accurate picture of what's behind you. Once we've set that up, Tony, okay, can you just tell me? Can you see that white van behind us that's parked up with a builder?
Yeah.
Rummaging for it. Okay, you can see that. If you just check over your left shoulder, does it look the same distance over your left shoulder? Does it look the same distance away as it does in that mirror?
Yeah.
Excellent. So that gives you an indication of that is a true picture of what you'd normally be able to see by looking over your shoulder. You just check the right exterior mirror there, Tony. So the right mirror over there to your side.
No, I can't see anything out of them.
You can't see anything out of them. So we need to set them up like we have done with this one. Okay. So what you can do, Tony, is...
I know, put my hand on it, but don't put my hand on it.
No, we won't do that. What we're going to do, Tony, is you should be able to see, to set it up correctly, if you're back in your normal position, okay? So it's important we get that position, because you don't want to be looking out of it like this every time, because you're going to lose focus on what's ahead. So what I'm going to ask you to do is, with that little knob there, just next to the door handle, okay? Now, you can change the mirror, which you will need to make sure it's suitable to you. Okay, so if you just, I think we might need to just, if I give you the, you've got the key. It's important you don't start the car, Tony. Is the key in the ignition at the moment?
Yeah, you don't need a key for the moment.
Okay, so you won't need to start it with the key. What I'll ask you to do, Tony, is just move it. What can you see out of there at the moment? Because I can't see it from here. So if you tell me what you can see out of it, and I'll tell you if it's...
I can just see loads of door.
Okay, so what you need to see is 2 finger widths, okay, towards the left of the mirror. So if you put 2 fingers over it at the moment, if you just put 2 fingers over the left of the mirror, yeah, you should be able to see that much of the door. The rest you should be able to see of the road behind you. And you should be able to see 50% of the sky and 50% of the tarmac. Okay, so if you just tell me if you can see that or not at the moment.
I already told you I can't.
Oh, you can?
I can't.
Oh, you can't?
No.
So let's move it. So if you just...
do tell me how.
Okay, so let's move it if I tell you how. So if you select the little knob there to the right, which it is, yep, and you can just give it, just pretend it's a joystick. Okay, so if it's a joystick on your PlayStation, if you just move it to the left a bit, so just press it to the left, okay, and line it up so you can see.
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So how's that?
Yeah, I can see 2 finger widths, so I can see a bit of sky and a bit of road.
Yeah, excellent, and the road behind.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to do the same with this one, because they are both obviously important to you, as well as this. So if you now move the little knob to the left, yep, so turn it to the left twice. Okay, now that's obviously the left mirror there. Okay, so that's, if you could go back in your normal seating position, yep, excellent, and just make sure that's out. Now if you just tell me what you can see.
About 2 finger widths again.
Yeah.
And a bit of sky and a bit of road.
Excellent, so both mirrors are set up okay. Now, this is true picture, flat glass.
Don't put your fingers on it.
Yeah, I was just touching the side, but well spotted. Now, if you stop being a pain in the arse, and if you just if you just Tony, with these exterior mirrors there, now they're not flat glass, so if they're not flat glass, you can't see a true picture of what's behind you in those. That's why we use this mirror mostly, okay, to make sure we can check accurately what's behind us for cars, their distance, and the speed that they're travelling and how far they are behind you. With those 2 mirrors, Tony, they are convex glass, so the glass is curved, so that actually makes cars look further away than they actually are. Okay, so if you just check, can you see that that lamppost over your right shoulder, Tony, just along the pavement? So if you just check over your...
I can see that.
Or we'll use this as an example. You see that parked builder's van again, the white one?
Yeah, it's a different one there.
Oh no, it's the same one, Tony. So I just want you to check.
Yeah, it's a different van with a bloke in a red jumper again.
Okay, so are you telling me that there's two different vans parked along that road? Okay, yeah. So if you just check over your left shoulder, Tony. Okay, and look at the van. Okay, what can you see sticking out the top of the van? Yeah?
Same van.
Same van, okay. So, does that look further away, or does it look closer?
No, it looks like mine, so it's really small.
Yeah. So, these 2 mirrors, okay, we shouldn't rely on them to get an accurate picture of what's behind, but we do use them to come in and out of parked cars, for example, or when we're turning right, but we'll talk about those a bit later. But I just wanted to get across to you the point that I'm trying to make, which is that's flat glass, so true picture, and that obviously isn't. So we shouldn't rely just on those exterior mirrors. We should always check this first. Okay. So we've covered the mirrors, Tony. We're now going to go on to the foot controls. Now we've got controls this side, but you don't need to worry about those. Now those foot controls over there, Tony. Okay. I don't want you to press any of them yet. Okay. Now the one on your right, Tony, is the accelerator. Okay. The one in the middle is the brake, and the one on the left, which you were pressing down earlier to make sure the seat's okay.
Adjusting the seat, isn't it?
Yeah. That's clutch, but we don't use that to adjust the seat. You know, we make sure the seat's set up using that, but we don't then continuously use that just to adjust the seat. Now, for the purpose of our lessons and going forward, we're going to call the one on the right gas, okay? Because accelerator, you know, it's a bit too long, so we use a common term called gas. Okay, so that will be the gas, that will be your brake in the middle, and that will be the clutch on the left. Okay, now the gas, okay. What do you think the gas does? What if I told you the word gas? What, you know, in your head, what would you assume gas does?
Cooking.
Okay, yeah. So you could say cooking. Yeah, it fuels.
I did.
It fuels. It gives you energy and fuel. Okay, to cook something. So likewise, this actually sends fuel. Okay, to the car, to the engine.
I've got gas on my bike.
Okay, so this is obviously different from your mountain bike. Okay, now. With this one, with the gas, it will obviously make the car go faster as we press it in. Now, I'll always ask you to press the gas the width of a coin. Okay, so if you imagine, there you go, you've got a lovely coin there on that coin. You've got a pound coin. So if you imagine pressing the gas a width of a coin, okay, We'll use that term because what we don't want in the early stages is you pressing it too much, because we're going to shoot off down the road, and we don't want you pressing it not enough, because we're not going to have enough power to move the car and we're going to stall the car.
So I've just got to imagine.
So what I want you to do is just practice that for me while the car's stationary and while it's
imaginary, or you want me to actually, you're actually going to...
So imagine in your head, Tony, that you're going to, what a width of a coin is, and then I want you to put that into practice on your right foot there. So just press the gas a width of a coin. Okay, that's enough. Is that a width of a coin, you know, based on what you're imagining?
It's about width of a sixpence piece, isn't it? Or,
okay.
What they call it, 5p piece.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that a bit more as we get involved in these lessons. But that's how we're going to operate that. Okay. Now, as well as making.
What happens if you press it all the way down?
If you press it all the way down, it's going to send a lot more. It's almost like the gas at home. If you turn it full, you're going to burn something.
Can I have a feel of it?
Of course you can.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So there you go. How did that feel?
It's easier to press it all the way down than fiddle about with the thickness of how.
Yeah, but it is important we don't press it too hard, because if you're pressing it all the way down and we shoot off into those houses, it might be easier, but it's going to be quite expensive for us to buy a new car and fix their fence and what have you.
Don't worry.
Okay.
I won't smudge your mirror.
Okay, brilliant. So what we can do is, if we ease off the gas as we're pressing it, Tony, we're obviously taking power out of the car.
Right.
Okay, so we don't only use that gas to go faster, we always use it to ease off. So I'll say come off the gas, more gas, and set gas to set the biting point, but we'll talk about that a bit later.
Right.
So that's the gas. Now, the middle one is the brake, Tony, and you did have a brake on your mountain bike, I hope. Otherwise you would have had problems. So with the brake, Tony, what do you assume the brake does on this car? Same as your bike. What do you think it's there for?
Oh, stopping.
Okay. Stopping, and did you also slow down with your brake as well on the bike?
No, I just never use the brakes when I'm stopping.
Okay. So what we're going to use the brake for on this vehicle and going forward on all your lessons is to slow the car down, okay, and stop as well, okay.
Right.
Now we'll always use, again, we've got that queen again on the coin. So what are the two links here? How much are we gonna press the brake, do you think, Tony, based on what I told you up here? I'm just testing how much you've taken in the first.
The thickness of the coin.
Excellent. So we're going to use the brake, the thickness of a coin, okay, unless it's an emergency, okay, and we'll cover that a bit later on. Unless it's an emergency, which we're going to use it all the way down, and I'll tell you that, you know, if we need to stop, and I've got controls on this side. So we're going to use the brake, the width of a coin again, okay. So I want you to just press the brake all the way in, just so you can get that out of the way, because I know you're excited about the
right foot.
yeah. So we're going to use the right foot, sorry, for the brake. So it's important that we use the right foot. So that's it. So what you're normally going to have is, because your right foot operates the gas and the brake, okay, so the two pedals right and middle, you're always going to swivel your foot. So you're not going to take your foot all the way off and do that, because that would be a nightmare, because you wouldn't know what you're doing and you might press the wrong one. So it's important with the ball of your foot you swivel between the two. So if you just practice that, excellent. Okay, how does that feel? Does it feel like you could do that quite easily? Yeah. Okay, now if you just press the brake all the way down, okay. No, it doesn't. And is it softer or harder to press than the gas?
Oh, harder.
Okay, excellent. So you just take your foot all the way off. Now I just want you to practice again that width of a coin. So let's just press, there you go, that's a width of coin. And obviously another width of a coin. Yeah, okay. So that's how we'll be using the brake. Now, this particular car, and like all cars, when you do brake, you'll always see, you know, you'll see this as a passenger, you'll see brake lights on the car. Now, you've got the brake lights, some might have one up there, but you've got the brake lights on the car. So not only is it important that we use the brake, but it's also important we use it to tell cars what we're doing behind us, okay? Now, modern cars nowadays, they do have ABS, okay? Do you know what ABS stands for, Tony?
No.
Okay.